Hi, everyone. I'm thrilled to be here. My name is Dr. Margarita Ochoa-Maya. I am an endocrinologist and a clinical researcher. And I've spent my whole career working on the intersection of clinical care, patient advocacy, and drug development. I've seen firsthand how complex the world of endocrine health truly is, specifically speaking around rare disease. We will need to look beyond the textbooks and connect the dots across the different specialties, elevate the lived experiences of patients, caregivers, and including us as providers when we don't really know what to give our patients or what other solution or what other medication to give them. So, at this point in time, I'd like to talk a little bit about the problem of rare disease.
Hi, Margarita. I'm Peter Suzuki, as you know, founder, publisher of CheckRare, and I am so excited to be part of this program, Rare Endocrine Exchange. I'm especially excited that you'll be hosting this series. Obviously, your passion for rare endocrine disease, it's what's going to make this program successful. When we started CheckRare 10 years ago, we believed that if we built the right audience, earned the community's trust, we'd eventually have the opportunity to create a program just like this. It's exciting for me to finally see this vision come into a reality.
And I'm James Radke, Education Director for CheckRare. The research and medical care that is part of the rare endocrine conditions. It's innovative. The researchers are passionate. The patients are passionate. The doctors like you are passionate. But it's often overlooked and underappreciated. And we need to put a spotlight on that.
And that is the truth, because I think we sometimes overlook the fact that there is a lot of physician burden in the fact that there might be a patient that we don't know what's going on. I think, providers really struggle when, someone comes in and we really don't know what's going on, or the other way around, when the patient says, I'm dizzy, and you have, a few minutes to really come up with a diagnosis. These are complex situations that, again, because of its rare condition and its rarity, we don't have defined lexicons. We don't have defined textbook, presentations. And so, again, I have one actionable rule of thumb. For example, two systems, two failure of treatments, dig deeper, go rare. So if you have like two problems or the patient keeps coming around with the same situation and they're still not getting better, we want to look at the root of the problem, and likely it might be a rare condition.
I just want to say at CheckRare, endocrinologists are one of our primary audiences. But what we have discussed, rare endocrine disorders don't often stay within endocrinology. They show up with primary care docs, pediatrics, emergency med, genetics, and you never know where that first clue will appear. And if this just serves and helps just a few clinicians recognize those clues a little bit sooner, I think we'll have made a real difference. That's what I'm excited. That's what the CheckRare platform is excited for.
Absolutely. That brings us to the second journey I wanted to talk to you guys about today, was the diagnostic journey. So if we look at, for example, a rare condition like acromegaly, it takes about 6 to 10 years to get the right diagnosis. And Cushing's syndrome or Cushing's disease, two different distinct conditions, but they take 4 to 7 years to get a diagnosis. And in that nature, when we look at evidence, we have seen the documents in epidemiology and the science that it might take up to 5 different clinicians to get it. So when they see the PCP, primary care doctor, they might end up seeing a cardiologist. They might end up seeing an ophthalmologist. They might end up seeing a gastroenterologist. And yes, they might also see an endocrinologist. But the story here is that their presentation is so difficult and so rare that it requires all these kind of doctors to look at that same patient. And our goal with our discussions is to really have that metacognition and put all the specialists in the room, or be able to look at it so how in the difference. Some different specialists might look at the disease differently, but the bottom line is we have that one individual patient that is having to go to all these doctors and waiting so long with the same problems to get the right diagnosis and the right treatment. So yes, for sure, I think the Rare Endocrine Exchange is going to really provide that platform where we can look at these rare conditions through the lens of the cardiologist, the lens of the endocrinologist, the lens of the neurologist, and so by putting us all together, we are indeed doing what we went to medicine to do, which is help our patients and ultimately improve outcomes and reduce cost of care. Because that's really important. These patients that have rare conditions end up seeing the doctor very frequently. They go to the emergency room a lot. There's a lot of money spent doing unnecessary tests. So for sure, I am so passionate to do this because we will put ourselves together. And ultimately, one more thing, maybe motivate students, medical students, to get into rare disease and endocrinology. We need more endocrinologists. So I have my little agenda.
I add one thing. As we discussed, Rare Endocrine Exchange is not just for healthcare professionals. Some of our most meaningful conversations will be with patients, with caregivers, because they often have insights that don't make it to the journal articles, the textbooks that you had mentioned earlier. Bringing those perspectives together is what's going to make this program very special.
Yes. So with that, I'd like to kind of maybe close because I don't want this to be too long. I wanted us to be motivated to meet over and over again. But our goal today is to really spark curiosity and cross specialty alignment across the board, all stakeholders, everyone that is touching the patient. And let us not forget, we are patients too. We want to foster clinical curiosity. We want to encourage clinicians and all those that are in the healthcare profession to really ask what if and dig deeper, especially again when the patient's still not getting better. We want to really foster that multidisciplinary collaboration and learn, even though, for example, if you are an ophthalmologist, we learn from endocrinologists. If we are endocrinologists, we learn from cardiologists. But really, the goal is to break down those silos and promote and foster collaboration and learning from each other and learning from our patients, and then ultimately sustaining the dialogue using this platform with Rare Endocrine Exchange to keep rare disease at the forefront. Because although, of course, we are talking about heart disease and obesity and mega drugs like GLP-1s, we want to not forget the importance of talking about rare disease and elevating that importance of learning about them, being curious about them, and nothing more actually really good when you actually can help someone, when you have that patient that is in the visit again for the 10th time with the same problem and you haven't been able to help them. It might be that there might be a rare condition that you might actually impact their lives and help them. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all again and talking about these rare endocrine conditions and empowering us all and motivating us all to learn more and more about them and make a difference. Thank you.